Hello, this is Gerald Jovan Was. This is one of the new videos that will show you the demonstration of letter combinations, how they are actually not too difficult to understand once you give a good demonstration how it will work, that the way how we hear all these letters and give them a position correspond to also what we see and where we see the associations, making a puzzle of how we build up the word with the letters. Some of the letters will be really focusing upon a certain place in space. Other ones will really move towards a certain direction where things are changing. And other letters will be really about surrounding elements that show you a way of a certain influence of references that are a bit more widened actually than just to one place or to one direction. And I talked about the theory a lot, but better it is to just have demonstrations. I try to have them as simple as possible. Let's go to the word train. Why not compare it also to the verb to train? And I say that every word as a letter combination means just one thing as a way to concentrate upon these positions. They are always the same kind of puzzle of combinations of letters that have a certain expression that emphasizes this focus. And it seems to be quite strange that the train is the same thing as the train used in the verb to train, because it has a completely different meaning literally. But the concentration of a letter combination upon that word that means something also more universal as an orientation is the same thing in both words. Seems or sounds strange now, but once I explain it, it actually doesn't sound so strange. It's just have a slightly different focus upon the same thing, and the same thing is actually described in both of these things. Strange, but just let me show you the demonstration. How so? These are the letters, and each of these three categories in which build up its logic, where we see the combination of letters, there are the letters of all the letters are present of one of each of these categories. So two letters are about a localization, one letter is about a movement, a certain movement, and the last two letters are about a certain formula of a complex movement actually that we follow up and that we can repeat also. So let's find out how this works out. You first have the T combined with the letter R as the first launch of the word. And there we have it. We have the T as a position position that will be somewhere as a cross point that is used always as a kind of functional placement in space. So where is it actually that we will be focusing upon? Will be somewhere up. That's also already sure, but that's all what we have at this moment. But knowing that we also will combine this with the R is a little bit more, I'll usually put that a bit more up because it's away from just the physical thing. It is about movement. It's about a certain movement where I can have a repetitive formula. So I have a placement, a functional placement, in which I will connect this to a certain movement where I can keep this thing actually that I give it a function running. What do I do? What I have as the next letter, next letter is that sound orally first of A. So let's first have A. A is that position of change. So you focus upon, you go towards that position of change. And by having a longer A, of course, I follow up the changes. So I'm also have that idea that I will of course, by connecting to it, I will also, of course, adapt at the same time towards that what is changing over time, or keep on looking for what is changing over time and give attention to that, yeah, running mode actually at a certain place from T to R. Train is actually written as A plus E. And what is A? A is actually a position in space, so it's a position upon an object, a certain object, which has a centralized focus. So the object itself is my focus. The A is my focus. The A as written as A. In English we say A, but that's a bit confusing towards what the basis of this letter is. The letter is A combined with E. And it's a centralized focus combined with E after it, so a centralized form or focus with some selected area in it, or areas of so, because it will take a while. Now, because this also has a certain length, it's better also to express this as a certain length. And this length here, I express it as well, so you can already almost see how this combination will lead to that train in that way. I have certain length where, yeah, I will have selections or that I will insert in it, where I will get my focus into it. This combination with this longer sound, it makes a stretched area. If I make that into an oval or into a square, in a way it doesn't matter, but with the T as a starting point, I have the tendency to have a square more than a circle, so let's have that square, yeah, why not? And combine it. The R here are these connection points which say, okay, I have a running formula which I try to connect to in many times, which within this combination will make also that train visible. Now, how can this be the same thing, as it is almost too obvious how I associate the letters into the positions that will show the train, how it becomes visible, what is happening there, not just how it looks like, but also what is happening there, how we connect to it, how we connect our attention to it. How can this be have a relationship with to train? Of course, the verb, every verb has also the to it, so let's do that. Let's have the to it as an association and work towards the word from there. So the to is then on the train is actually that attention which I give to something, which actually says, okay, I have a certain position and I'll give it attention, so where actually something will be available to move itself, to change itself, and so on. It's an attention towards, in a functional attention actually, towards a certain change. And if you add that, actually, you have more the impression of, okay, that's the movement. I have that repetition somewhere at a certain place, and I will have that, and I'll follow up all the changes that can happen there, and that I can get from there is a slightly different angle upon the same thing. So the whole motoric effect of the train here got more a motoric attention actually, so that it moves forward, and then I move forward from it, and then I also get my attention to it. So what is changing there? What can this bring forward actually at the same time? Different attention, no longer an object, but the verb, and the same connections are also there in both words, but the focuses are lying differently. I hope this was convincing enough. It's just another example that is actually, as a visualization process, quite easy. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks again for watching. Bye.